My hairband. February 22nd, 2021. Put my hairband in. No big deal. Got a lot to go. Got a lot to talk about. Struggling with English as it starts.
Sorry, it's Monday morning. It happens.
Danny's going to be here in a second. He said he had his laptop's giving him issues. So I'm really hoping his elevator is a star, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's a big thing. A very big thing. Danny is known for his elevator now.
I know. I love it. Like the first time he did it, it was just me and him. And I was a little bit annoyed. I'm like trying to do the show and like this elevator and you can't hear Danny and he's not talking a lot because he's around people. And that's when we talked about like the Iraq football podcast. And then now it's become like my favorite part of the show is Danny's elevator. So
he was once known for talking about the weather. And now he's known for an elevator. So
I know.
Quite the dichotomy there.
He's gonna have to do like an elevator like vlog or something. Or purposely get stuck on the elevator.
He's got no choice.
We're both wearing jerseys. You're wearing your Knicks jersey. I'm wearing my Nets one that I got in 5th grade, so it's a little tight on me. But I saw you in the waiting room, and I figured I had to, one up you because that's the kind of guy I am.
Yeah, well, I understand. I appreciate the little rivalry. So,
both our teams won last night.
Yeah,
and controversy after both of them. Ours was with the fouls at the end, and then yours with Ryan Saunders getting fired afterwards.
Yeah, God,
I want to talk about sports, so let's talk about that because I have some takes. I messaged you after that game, and I was like, the Timberwolves are a mess. I was like, not just like, oh, they don't have talent. In crunch time, the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game, because it was during the Nets halftime, so I turned it on and I watched the first quarter before the Nets game started. Every single possession was get Karl Anthony Towns the ball around the 3-point line and just have him post up and try and do post moves. Every single possession was that. They didn't run any plays. They got guys like Anthony Edwards, and then Rubio's like jacking up threes and missing free throws, and he's a mess. Like I'm not like a X's and O's basketball type, but I was just like, this is the ugliest basketball I've ever seen. You guys just have Karl Anthony Towns just posting up from the 3-point line every possession.
It was absolutely pathetic. And the Knicks were up like 21 points, and I still think they should have lost that game. They were so atrocious the last like 4 minutes of the game, and they gave the Wolves had that game on a silver platter. And they kept doing the same thing over and over and over. Like Ricky Rubio hit a couple threes in the first half, so all of a sudden he thought he was Steph Curry and just chucking shots up, and they weren't even close. I think there can be an argument made that the Timberwolves are in the worst position of like any sports team. They are atrocious.
They are, and then they fire Saunders after game. Let's add Danny King into the show. What's going on, Danny King?
Elevator, what's up, man?
Nothing much. No big elevator noises yet, but I'm doing good.
We are waiting. We were talking before you were in the waiting room. That was like the first episode. I was like, this is bad audio. It's like it's hard to like get conversations going. And now the elevator is like my favorite part of the show, and I can't I need elevator noises in this show.
You just don't know what sound it's gonna make.
No. It's a mainstay to Simple Man Radio. It's a Simple Man.
It really is.
It's a co-host. Like I said on Friday, I was like, that's my favorite You could see the grin on like that clip I posted. As soon as it starts making the noise, you could see the grin on my face. Like this is.
Yeah. It's like a kid on Christmas morning. That smile.
you can't help but love it.
I know. So we're talking about the Knicks and the Wolves firing their coach. So I was watching. I tuned on our co-worker's show, Wake and Jake. Like I was getting ready for this show, and then I saw it was live. So I clicked on for the last 10 minutes, and they were bashing the Wolves for firing their coach and then hiring this Chris Finch guy from the Raptors because I guess there was an assistant on the team that I guess he was like he like coached Dame and McCollum, and they were like, oh, it's garbage. They didn't give him a chance.
Yeah.
Every time that players or media gets outraged by a coaching hire in the NBA, it always turns out amazing. Have you noticed that? Whenever it's like, oh, they did this guy wrong, it turns out amazing. Mark Jackson. And I was one of them. I was like, I cannot believe they're firing Mark Jackson. This is disgusting what they're doing.
Right.
Firing this guy because they don't like him behind the scenes. Guess what? He turns out to be a bad coach. Mark Jackson's not a good coach. And I used
a bad guy, too.
And then Steve Kerr comes in and they win 3 of the next 4 titles. I get they have the players, but you know what? Before KD, they still won a title without them and pushed them from a team that was losing in the second round to a team that won the NBA Finals.
Yep. Going away too, like they were an absolute dominant team, and to a lesser degree, even David Fizdale. People were up in arms when the Knicks hired David Fizdale. Like
the last guy players, David Fizdale. Everyone, oh my gosh, this is not right, David Fizdale.
He was terrible.
Dwayne Wade. It's like he is a horrible. And look at the Knicks right now. He's a perfect example of how bad of a coach David Fizdale was.
Terrible. And when he got fired midway last year and Mike Miller took over, no, the Knicks weren't any good, but they played 20 times better under Mike Miller than they did David Fizdale. And now they brought in a real coach with essentially the same goddamn team, and they're a 500 team. They've won their 15th game February 21st. I don't think they won their 15th game until I don't even know if they won 15 games last year with the cut down season and everything. So please.
Dwayne Casey.
Dwayne Casey, that's another one.
I won Coach of the Year. They fired this guy. Nick Nurse. Now Nick Nurse is known as like one of like the best coaches in the league. Won Coach of the Year last year. I get that they had Kawhi, but you know what? I thought they were going to be horrible last year, and they were a really good team in the East last year. You know, they lost to the Celtics in the second round, but for a team that lost Kawhi and Lowry, who I'm not a fan of his, like is basically their best player with Siakam. Like look, Nick Nurse has looked at one of the best coaches, so I have no problem with the Timberwolves hiring Chris Finch. They wanted their guy. They go and get him. Do I think he's going to turn around the Timberwolves? No. The Timberwolves suck. They're a horrible franchise. But the argument was like, well, why not let the assistant try for 2 weeks and then do it? It's like, well, nobody would have cared.
If you have your guy, go get him. There's no point in doing it. And Saunders, listen, maybe this is not nice to say, but do you think the only reason he stayed on as their head coach, they gave him that job because of his father, Flip?
I think that's why he got it. The Timberwolves aren't hiring him if it wasn't his son.
Right, exactly. Like, what did they see in Ryan Saunders? No offense, they were nothing last year. They're
a kid.
This year. A kid. He's a neophyte. He's as old as we are.
I know. And so
he looks younger than us.
Nobody. And the idea is like, oh, if they would have waited 2 weeks and tried it out, it would have been fine. It's like, no, it wouldn't. They knew who they like this. They did a coaching search, wanted Finch. I'm sure they evaluated the guys on there, talked to the players. So waiting in 2 weeks wouldn't have done anything. No. They went and got their guy Ryan Finch. Once it was done, we're firing Saunders, and we're getting our guy. We're going to go get our guy. Like I said, the Timberwolves aren't going to be turned around. They're horrible. As much as they keep on getting top draft picks, they still like. I don't get how they're the worst team in the league, Like the Wolves, I'm not expecting them to be good, but they should be at least a fun team to watch, and they're not.
They also have, I'm not a big Karl Anthony Towns fan, but he's a great player.
Yes,
you would think they could will to some wins. They had the number 1 pick, albeit, maybe this draft class wasn't as deep, but look what LaMelo Ball is doing. Don't you think that LaMelo Ball would be a better player than Anthony Edwards? Like, is that a little regret that they took Anthony Edwards, who I know he could fly. He's had some impressive dunks, but he doesn't really impress me. I don't know.
Is that Timberwolves coach? Is he allowed to start coaching today or like whenever he gets hired?
I'm sure.
I'm
sure as soon as he passes protocols, he'll be coaching. I was Edwards over LaMelo though, big time. I was kind of, and I've been proven wrong a little bit. I was very anti LaMelo. Now I don't think LaMelo's ever going to be like a perennial all-star, but I was super anti LaMelo, and I think it was a little too much because I just hated how much he shot and how broken his shot is.
He's been good though.
And I got burned on Lonzo. I was a Lonzo stan, and I got burnt on that.
So maybe it has some bias.
Tragic.
I loved Lonzo, and I'm a Jason Kidd stan. I'm literally wearing a Jason Kidd jersey that I got in 5th grade. And
it fits?
No, it doesn't, but I can get it on. Like if I stretch, my gut is hanging out. So that's why I'm not stretching in this show, though. I usually do.
Don't stretch.
Trust me. I'm not trying to get that screenshot that's going to go around the internet forever. And then, but like the Jason Kidd comparisons, Lonzo.
Right. Yeah.
Now I didn't think Lonzo's going to be Jason Kidd, but I was like, I don't mind those. I was like, I love those. I think this guy is going to be a very Jason Kidd type player, and he's just totally
coming out. He had all that skill set, like the passing ability.
He shot well at UCLA.
He shot well. And he said, "Fine." I think he's finally turning a corner. I think he's shooting the ball pretty well this year.
Was he? Because I know he started out the season really bad after the bubble was. The bubble was horrendous.
Maybe it was like a week and a half span, but I do know he was shooting the ball pretty well. I'll pull it up.
Which, by the way, the Pelicans, what they did yesterday against the Celtics is beautiful.
They were down.
He's doing good. He's shooting 39% from
that's
three.
not bad.
Man, he's shooting 7 threes a game. Oh my gosh.
There was rumors that he was on the trade block. It's somebody I wanted the Knicks to look at.
I know the Raptors have been rumored to
Yeah, that's nice. I think the Knicks are probably out of that.
That's kind of weird.
The Knicks are probably out of that one. After,
I know they got Bledsoe.
Derrick Rose.
Has the trade deadline passed yet? When is
No, it's not till like January.
They haven't. They still haven't even released the second half schedule.
Wait.
That's crazy.
That haven't released the second half schedule? That's insane to me.
No, like March. I was on the Yahoo app this morning trying to see like the Knicks rest of the schedule, and it still stops after March 4th. They have no games after that. They haven't.
That's just weird.
Yeah, because the All-Star game's Sunday, March 7th, and then they haven't released the rest of it. So I don't know.
I forgot to put the YouTube link on Twitter, and so we have like no audience. I mean, we have like a solid 30 people in here, but look at our comments.
I can't see them.
They're not there. We don't have any comments.
They're not. Good. We don't need the comments. We can talk amongst ourselves.
It's because they're all on Periscope is the issue.
Oh.
So you can't really comment on Periscope.
I tell you, a lot of
your brother retweeted it though.
Did he?
He did.
Nice guy.
So I have no problem with the Wolves going and getting their guy instead of being like, let's give everyone a fair shot. This is the NBA, okay? Like every time, and that's just because I was one of them. Like the Mark Jackson stuff, I was like, this is ridiculous. Dwayne Casey, I was a little okay with that because I hated the Raptors. Fizdale, I was like, why would the Grizzlies fire Fizdale? This isn't right. You know what? Here's something that I've realized. These guys know what's going on behind the scenes, how they work with players, how their offenses work a lot better than me, who watches 4 Grizzlies games a year, 2 Timberwolves games a year,
Whenever
so I got no problem with them not giving someone else a fair shot because Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum said it's not right.
That's the only reason Fizdale was hired. Literally. It wasn't his ability to coach basketball, I can tell you that. Just, this guy's going to get the stars to come here. Oh, blah, blah, blah. My God.
I'll be honest. I'm still not over the Kenny Atkinson firing. I'm still not over it to this day.
Listen,
that's a tough one.
I love Kenny, and Kenny was a good coach for us, and I think everyone around the NBA likes Kenny. And like watching him last night, I got like a little sad seeing him on the Clippers bench. But I was okay with it. I wasn't okay with the idea that like the players like. I thought Spencer Dinwiddie had a big – like, I know KD – like, the whole – like, I understand. If KD and Kyrie wanted Atkinson as the coach, he would have been the coach. So I get that. But it happened, like, right after – this is – if you're not a Nets fan, you're not going to remember what I'm talking about. We were down by, like, 20-plus points to the Celtics, and Kenny Atkinson put Chios in, had LeVert in, and he benched Spencer Dinwiddie. We start coming back. And we come back, we tie, we go to overtime. He never once puts Dinwiddie in, keeps Chris Chios and keeps all the bench guys in. I think that pissed off a lot of players because he's like, I will bench you. He's like, I don't care, Spencer Dinwiddie, if you're supposed to be the best player on this team right now because Kyrie was out. I'm going to let Chris Chiozza play overtime because he was the one who brought us back in this, even though they're dead tired. We ended up winning that game. Karis LeVert went for 50 points.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty for Dinwiddie, but I'd ride the hot hand too if I'm down 20 and they're coming back.
I loved it, but at the end of the day, it's like you have to be able to deal with stars, and I don't think
I get it. Basketball's completely different. Yeah, I can understand that, but you got to give Kenny all the credit in the world. Without him and the development of those players, they never win. And
they wouldn't have
Kyrie and Durant. Don't look at the Nets like that. So.
Yeah, and credit to D'Angelo Russell. If I was D'Angelo Russell, I would have quit on Kenny Atkinson that year. They were benching him. They weren't playing him in the end of games. And he was the best player, and Kenny Atkinson was just not playing at the end of the game.
Which makes no sense. He made so many clutch shots that year.
Toward the end of before like the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I think he actually made, but like the first, like we went on like an 8-game losing streak that year. That year was a weird year. I remember at one point it's like, should we tank for Zion? And then he came into his own. But yeah, it was so weird. Like so I'm not a Kenny Atkinson stan. But let's talk about the Nets. And I got so freaking pissed off last night because everyone is talking about that foul call, offensive foul call on Kawhi Leonard at the end. Pissed me off so bad. I have a clip, and I was spamming it in people's replies last night because the Nets won. I was happy, and I was pissed off. I was pissed off people talking about that last call. The possession before, the Nets up by 2, Kawhi literally just runs out of bounds. DeAndre Jordan has his hands up, doesn't even touch him, like doesn't even make contact with him. And Kawhi just runs out of bounds because he knows he's not going to like get that layup off DeAndre Jordan because he was playing great defense. And they called a foul. And the Clippers were able to tie the game up. And everyone's talking about it's like at least the last call, while I do think it was a bad one, could be at least be debated. The possession before was Kawhi just ran right out of bounds. Like that's all they did. And we would have had the ball 28 seconds left, up 2, and if we score, the game's over. So that call was worse than the other one.
It was 20 times more egregious. I both of them were bad because that offensive foul call on Kawhi was not an offensive foul. But the possession before, DeAndre Jordan I don't even know if he touched Kawhi Leonard.
He didn't. Like I think at one point, like Kawhi's elbow like grazed his stomach, but that was it. There wasn't. Kawhi didn't even like really fake it. Like he didn't even flop or anything. They just called a foul.
Running out of bounds.
Yeah, they just called a foul. So miss me with like, oh, the refs gave the Nets that game. Screw that. The refs sucked. I agree, but they didn't give the Nets that game. And also, Pat Bev. He sucks. He's out there injuring players like a loser. Like he is on my hit list. Like I know you say you would spit on people in the face.
Correct.
Like if I was in the arena, I would have been tempted to just run on the court and fight Pat Bev last night. I can't stand him. He might be my least favorite player in the NBA now.
And for a guy who talks so much shit, he's not very good anymore.
No. And you know what? Screw the Clippers. What have the Clippers done to deserve respect? They got beat. They were up 3-1 versus the Denver Nuggets. And I like the Nuggets, but that should not happen to you guys.
Not when you have Kawhi and Paul George. No.
Paul George is a loser. So you guys what did they do this offseason? I get Serge Ibaka is an upgrade over Harrell, even though he's not playing the greatest in the world. But they fired Doc Rivers, who has the Sixers as the 1 seed, and they have Ty Lue at the coach who didn't like he never. I couldn't stand Ty Lue in Cleveland.
Okay, like, I'm very glad you brought that up. I don't mean to interrupt. I think Ty Lue is one of the most buns head coaches in the world. He challenged Pat Beverly's offensive foul when it was clear as day an offensive foul. He legit back. I almost think you could throw a technical in there. He went at his elbow
he injured him.
My God, he hit him so hard. Why would you challenge that? Because if you had that challenge, you could challenge the offensive foul call on Kawhi if you really need it. So just stupidity. I never liked Ty Lue. He won a title with because LeBron James was on his team.
Yeah,
Ty Lue did nothing.
He was a bad coach in Cleveland. They didn't make adjustments in game. Like there was never like any adjustment.
Was a better coach in Cleveland than he was.
Yeah, and something you remember the JR dribble it out kind of thing.
Yes.
I also look at that and it's like, Ty Lue, why didn't you call a timeout? like why didn't you call and he just didn't make adjustments. So I've never been a Ty Lue fan. And listen, even if you like Ty Lue, look at what Doc Rivers is doing with the Sixers, who we thought were totally broken. Yeah. Like the Sixers are broken. The Embiid, Simmons, they have to trade someone that's not working. And now they're the number 1 seed, and Embiid looking like he's an MVP favorite.
Yeah.
So Serge Ibaka, it doesn't make me respect the Clippers. And you still have Paul George, who they benched him for the last 3 minutes because of a minutes restriction.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why were you benching one of your star players when the game was right on the line?
And that had to have come from up top, because if you listen to Ty Lue's answer, he was like, he didn't even want to answer it.
I understand if they like, hey, George, you're not playing the fourth quarter. I get that. But with 2.5 minutes left, like, what is 2.5 minutes going to do, minutes restriction wise?
It's very, very stupid. And if you know he has a minutes restriction, why not sit him earlier in the game so you have him for the last 3 minutes of the game?
Another reason why Ty Lue is an idiot. So I hate the Clippers. I think they're my most hated team in the NBA right now. I hate the Clippers. I hate them more than any team in the NBA right now.
Respect. I hate
Look at us talking sports, dude.
I know. This is so weird. This is so weird. This isn't simple.
Danny, did you see that Cam Newton video?
But before that, I just want to say the Clippers Nets uniforms last night threw me off so much.
Oh my God, me too.
I hate those too. I hate those uniforms too.
I was like, oh man, Brooklyn just had an offensive foul. Like, oh no, that's the Clippers. So that was stupid. And yes, I did see parts of the Cam Newton video, and I did see that Camper recently just apologized. So that's all.
Did he really? Can you send that to me?
I must be the only one.
It was a Bleacher Report notification. He said, as a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me.
So you didn't see this, Snacks?
I did not. No.
Because you're like live under a rock.
That is true.
You're free agent, Mom. You're free agent, Rich. You're free agent. You're about to be poor. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. I'm a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where's your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? He's a free agent. He's a free agent. You ass. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop?
That's gotta be so frustrating for Cam because like if he's not a kid, you just body slam him.
Oh yeah, if he's a grown man, you go after him.
Like that's what I can't stand about I if they were like because I like trash talking, but I don't like to if they were going back and forth and actually talking trash, but the kid just kept on repeating the same thing over and over again, which is hey, I'll talk trash with you, but if you're just gonna repeat the same thing over and over again, it's all right, we're done talking now, let's fight. But Cam Newton couldn't do that because it was a kid and it was at his camp. So screw that kid.
I kind of like it.
Well, Cam's bad at trash talking.
Very bad.
Which I thought he would be a lot better because I think he was caught off guard, and he realized it was kids and stuff. So I get it, but it's I think that kid sucks.
Well, he's not a very good trash talker. He said the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, and also it was planned. Cam's walking by, and it's hey, take a video. I'm gonna make fun of Cam Newton. Well, that's what I don't like.
That wasn't
a moment thing. If it was they were in a camp, and Cam Newton is pretending to run routes and catches the ball over him, they start that. I get. But just the idea of hey, record me while I talk trash. That's what I hate about it.
We're going viral. Let's get
and my favorite thing was he's telling Cam he's a free agent. He's he's a free agent that's going to get $1 million probably from some team. He's already a millionaire as it is.
Right.
So he's a pretty successful player while you're probably not going to even make it to anywhere, really.
Well,
the kid was lame is my big thing. It's
you're a free agent. It's come on, you got nothing better.
Yeah, why not make fun of his inability to throw a football or anything of that ilk instead of saying you're a free agent it's the end of the world.
Yeah, just be your MVP was a fluke. Do something like that.
Yeah, remember that Super Bowl performance when you didn't dive on the ball like a bitch? Something.
I'm afraid you would dive at me, but I also look like a football, or I don't know. There's good material you could use on Cam.
And at that point, what's the point of
even the Patriots couldn't make you couldn't even make the playoffs with the Patriots, stuff like that. There's so much ammo, and that kid just sucked at it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's maybe his parents forced him to apologize.
What was the apology again?
It was something just I let my competitive side get the best of me. It was boring.
Wait, this was
what competitive side?
Does he have a Twitter account?
I don't think so.
Danny, this is the kid that apologized?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pathetic.
You got to stick to your guns at that point.
Yeah.
Whenever these videos go viral, I always think about what those people's day is like.
Oh wait,
where it's I'm a kid, Twitter. I'm 15 years old, and Trey Young is tweeting it. The entire world is tweeting at how much I suck. The lady with the the Silversmith daughter with the Tom Brady throwing the football. Yeah. That was so stupid. But I couldn't imagine everyone is just killing you for 2-3 days straight because you said something dumb about a trophy. I also am that's got to kind of suck for those 2-3 days.
He does have a Twitter.
What is it? Have a Twitter.
It's Bleacher Report actually put it out. It was at J Steph Owens.
Steph Owens or Steph Owens?
Seth Owens, SETH. Owens _5.
I saw someone post a clip of him getting laid out, which was kind of funny.
That's funny.
You make me wet.
Like I said, you don't know what's coming in the elevator.
Wow.
I hear it. Come on, elevator.
You need to do a show in that elevator, soon.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes.
The odds of me getting stuck in there are quite high.
That's fine.
Okay, this kid has 113 replies to his huddle highlight film. Let's see.
Why can't I see this photo? Why can't I see
you have to go over the tweets and replies for the apology because he did.
Okay. But I'm reading just some of the replies. All your highlights are you making a tackle 10 yards downfield. Okay, then.
Bullied. Now everyone. It was a mistake for his after.
Dan, you said Bleacher Report tweeted his apology.
Enjoy football while it lasts.
BR Gridiron.
Enjoy football while it lasts because working McDonald's is gonna suck. That's kind of mean.
That's
so mean.
Very mean.
You can't. McDonald's is a pretty solid area.
Only got
hey, yo, how it feel to have Ocho Cinco trash your bum ass high? Oh, so Ocho Cinco must have quote tweeted it. Let's see.
Oh, that's funny.
Ocho Cinco is like. Have you ever listened to an interview with Ocho Cinco?
Nah.
No.
He just lies. He does. Like everything. It's just he says outrageous stuff and just lies. I'm not mad at him because like if you're just doing that on purpose, like it's kind of funny. But he just lies.
Yeah, he's I actually always got a kick out of Ocho Cinco, but
I mean, you gotta love Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, I love Ocho Cinco too. But it's just so funny. Like in his interviews, he just lies.
It's funny you caught on to that.
I'm just surprised Cam Newton was actually doing a football camp just during like these times.
I don't think anybody's going to want Cam Newton this year, unless the Patriots bring him back. He was bad.
No, he was bad. He had the first month he was solid, and then he got the COVID, and it was all downhill from there.
I'm trying to remember, how did Ron Rivera's and Newton's relationship end? It probably didn't end well because didn't he get benched? No, he was injured that year, right?
I think he was injured. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I could see it. That's the only landing place I can see is Washington. But also Washington just gave Heineke like a nice backup contract, which is so weird. Like,
yeah, we don't even know what Alex Smith is doing yet either. Is he
There's
returning?
no way he's coming back.
He has his contract is still in there, right?
I don't know if he's a free agent.
I can look. But Bobby, speaking of that, your prediction was wrong. Larry Fitzgerald did not retire at the Pro Bowl.
I know. I think he caught on to me. Did he retire though?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Well, I said he would announce that he's not retiring Pro Bowl week, and he didn't do that this year, which is weird because he's done it every single year.
Yeah, he's a free. Alex Smith's a free agent in 2023, apparently.
Okay, so yeah, he's not leaving because he has a ton of freaking money laying up for him.
But he might just be shot though.
Doesn't matter. People think about put yourself in his mind. It's like, go way out on top or get $30 million next year. I'll take $30 million next year.
Yeah, I mean, I would take the 30 mil too. So
I would have no issue taking that money.
Exactly. So it's
I'd cut my own leg off for 30 million. So I would imagine
guys aren't going to retire when they're under contract, unless you're Ricky Williams.
Well, Ricky just really missed the
I remember how bizarre that was. I mean, he was the best running back in the league, and then it's like
beast.
It's just like Ricky Williams retired. I used to read the sports section every day, and then I read it like Ricky Williams retired. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was funny how that all just went about. He was so good.
I know he was a beast.
Fucking Cam.
Was there any sports stuff I wanted to talk? The Knicks and the Nets we talked about. Saunders, Cam Newton. I think that might have been it.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's right here. Pitchers and catchers. Training camp open. That's fun, exciting.
F. Trevor Bauer.
That's what I want to talk about. Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
What? So I saw him. Like, I get what Noah Syndergaard was saying, and then them going back and forth. And then I start seeing like everyone's like Trevor Bauer's a racist, and I was like looking up stuff. What is that from, and what's the deal with Marcus Stroman?
Well, obviously, it's a great thing Bauer did not end up in New York because clearly Stroman does not like the guy. Syndergaard, he probably obviously started to dislike him once he used him. Stroman responded with like the thinking emoji, and then like Trevor Bauer said something, and then he called Marcus Stroman his homie, and then Marcus Stroman said like, "I for sure ain't your homie," and then other people were like, "Wow, Trevor, you're using the term homie."
They called him racist for saying homie.
Give me a break.
I believe so.
I say homie all the time. Now maybe I'm a raging racist, but I say homie all the time.
But it's just my favorite thing is Trevor Bauer. He's still so focused on us. It's like you're in LA now, my guy. Please do that.
Yeah.
And then
Trevor Bauer.
My favorite thing was his agent when Syndergaard had like when he used you to go to another team. She's like, "Oh, is this your attempt at throwing shade?" It's like it clearly worked. You're both here. Responded to him.
She is ridiculously annoying, by the way. Trevor Bauer's agent.
Great agent. She got Trevor Bauer a great contract. Bless her. But I despise them now. Absolutely.
What sucks though is people like the stuff people tweets at her.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting.
For sure. And absolutely.
That's horrible stuff. She's a great agent. She got Trevor Bauer a great contract.
Oh yeah, she's definitely good at her job. She's just very irritating.
Annoying.
Trevor Bauer is super annoying to me.
Well, he's
like the most known player in baseball because of how annoying he is. Like he's really taken. Warren Reynolds is saying people call him a racist because he is a racist. So there has to be more than the homie thing.
There is that wasn't the only thing. I think there's like prior history, like prior tweets he put out.
And apparently, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Apparently, he like supported Trump, and they found that out, and they automatically called him a racist for that. So everything. I think he even replied to somebody's tweet calling out his political views, and Bauer's like, "Oh, because of my political views, I'm automatically labeled a racist."
Was it this past weekend?
I think it was yesterday.
It was whenever Marcus Stroman responded. That's when that conversation started going. Stroman responds to Bauer saying something like, "Oh, I can't. I'm not allowed to have my own views," or like he's saying I'm not racist. And Stroman was like, "You sure about that one?"
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah,
he just needs to get off the internet.
Yeah, keep your YouTube channel, but get off Twitter. It's going to distract him, and if he has even a bad game, it's going to be brutal. He's going to be lit up. And I'm telling you, I have tickets to a Dodgers Mets games this year. I am hoping and I am praying that it is Syndergaard and Bauer. If not, just Bauer has to be on the mound for that game. I'm hoping.
Trevor Bauer versus Marcus Stroman, the most annoying battle in baseball. Like the two most annoying people in baseball going
Marcus Stroman is very annoying.
I love Marcus Stroman. I don't get why Mets. I get why some Mets fans hate him because they're saying like he quit on the team last year. Sure, maybe he did that, but I love Marcus Stroman, especially he's a Long Island boy. Us Long Island bros have to stick together. We replaced Steven with Marcus.
He's a Duke gang guy.
Duke gang. Oh, so Bobby, you legally have to support him.
Oh, I remember I was rooting. See now. I don't like I just saw like once he didn't get traded to the Yankees, he was like super like weird about it.
Well, there was a report he was extremely angry when the front office told him that he was traded to the Mets. He did not want to be a Met at all.
At that moment in time, I don't blame him. But I think when he got here and the Mets went on that run when they almost made the playoffs, I know it's almost pipe down. But when they almost made that playoff run, I think that's when he kind of changed his attitude towards the Mets. But granted, he opted out the next year, but that was all because of COVID and all that. And now he's here again.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, he's a solid pitcher, but
too short.
Would you say too short?
Hey, we're the same height over here.
I'm just trying to give myself some real baseball analysis. I know he's short. Short pitchers don't last, so I'm out on Marcus Stroman.
But the fact of the matter is, all my homies hate Trevor Bauer. F Trevor Bauer.
Dude, did you just say homie?
No, it's the meme. Oh, fuck.
Racist. Danny, you're a racist.
Fuck, I got to get on the elevator.
Now, Ithaca, we're going to tell the board at Ithaca, and you're going to be canceled and kicked out of school.
I'm going to post
that.
Will be. Danny King says homie live on Simple Man Radio. That's how we get publicity for this show.
That's true. Danny Elevator is a racist. That Simple Man Radio will blow up.
I'm still working on getting Chris Rose on the show. He won't reply to me.
We should just bombard him with tweets.
He's on. I thought about that, and then I was like, I like to joke around, but I also don't want to like really annoy one of our biggest hire.
Well,
he does battle bots, right?
What?
Yeah, I guess he announces battle bot. haven't watched any new, but I love battle bots back in the day when it was first out. But I guess battle bots is still like his show, and he like calls it.
I had no idea, but that's pretty funny. He's a pretty versatile guy. So,
hang on, I do have some good news, at least for possibly next year. But 15% capacity at outdoor venues in Jersey started March 10th.
What?
There's going to be fans for the Giants next year. It's just question is how many.
It's just how to do it, yeah.
15% by March 10th?
Mm-hmm.
By September, you got to figure that stadium's at least.
Oh, by September. By September, in my mind, by September, we're at least close to 100.
I'm thinking so too. Wow, it's outdoors.
I just need to get into a sporting event. I missed it.
I like what they're doing, like with MSG and Barclays Center and getting fans back. you have to test negative 72 hours in advance. I like that rule. I think that's a good thing. You show proof that you are tested negative. Like if you want to go to a game, you want to drop this money, you should be able to go take a test and find out if you're negative or not. Don't just risk going in if you have it and you don't know. So I like that idea. And it's going to be a hassle. It's going to be a bitch when you have to do it for 50, 60, 70,000 people at a football arena, football stadium. But I'm willing to absolutely do it. I'll take 2 tests, 3 tests, 4. Take my pinky. Just let me in. Douchebag.
You heard it. You know what? Hang on. Let me call up my elevator friend over here.
Yes, do that. Just call it up.
Make us happy.
Knicks and Nets are having fans on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Here you go. I'm gonna
2,000.
There should be no one here, so I'm gonna.
I hope somebody's there.
Are you on your laptop or your phone?
My laptop. My bad hair. It's not making its disturbing noises right now.
Bang on it.
Oh, here it is.
Bang on it. Bang on it.
Here it is.
Oh, he's
Fine.
in.
Go down and shake it.
He's in.
I'm not fucking shaking it.
Come
No,
on.
that's the deaf elevator right there. I'm gonna be
Shake
honest
it.
with you. That's deaf elevator.
Oh,
shake it.
Danny, you should shake it. Jump
That's
up
the
and
deaf
down.
elevator. I'm not risking getting on deaf elevator.
Getting
Fine. How
stuck
about
on an
this?
elevator is a great experience. Like it's a cool thing to be able to say you've done. And your tweet would like it'd be a great tweet to retweet out from the elevator.
All right,
like I'm stuck
fine.
on the elevator.
On the elevator I prefer. I will go down one whole.
Oh, you got to go on the bad one. You can't go on the good one.
You don't know the noises. This is right elevator. He never lets us down.
Shake it.
I'm in the elevator. I don't know if I still have service.
You're losing it.
You're gone.
Record yourself on your phone.
Oh, Danny, he tried. I mean,
we should just end the show and have Danny come back to a show that's over. Oh, there he is.
I'm back. He can't annoy me.
Oh, damn it. We were just gonna end the show and leave and leave you like where is everybody?
I'm gonna be honest, the 6th floor of this building smelled like the devil's lettuce.
You should find out what room it is and be like, hey, no.
All right, open up
and scare them.
Arcomania Danny King here.
One time in college, so you know how like a dorm is, there's multiple floors and every floor is the same exact layout.
Yeah.
So one time we were devil's lettuce, and then I went down to the basement to get some Gatorades for me and my roommate.
Parched.
Yeah, very thirsty. Go to get Gatorades, and we had this joke, just a dumb joke. It's like we'd lock the door on the other person when we knew they didn't have their key, and make them bang on the door, and then 30 seconds later you open the door. Like harmless dumb joke. So I get on the elevator. And it just stops at this random floor, and I don't realize it. And it's a woman's floor. And so I go to where my room would be on my floor and go to open. And this is like 11 o'clock at night. Go to open the door. It's locked. It's like bang on the door. Come on, open up. And not hearing anything, like not hearing laughter or anything.
Thinking you're getting punked, though.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, open the door. And then I'm like, I'm going to drink your Gatorade. Like yelling at them, like I'm gonna drink your, like knocking on the door, and then I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is a 2 young ladies' dorm room, and I'm banging on the door at 11 o'clock at night saying to let me in, or else I'm gonna drink your Gatorade. And then when I realized it, I just ran.
They must have, if they were awake, they must have feared for their lives.
And I was, I'm a big guy. I played football. I was known, so I don't even know who those girls were. But I know every time they saw me on campus, they were like, that's the guy. That's the man who was banging on our door.
That's the freak show.
Would you imagine?
On our door.
He tried to drink our Gatorades.
I've got another story that I'm not going to tell on this. I'm going to save it for another pod. But it's similar to...
Is it a college story?
No.
Oh, okay.
This was in Orlando. Long story short, you know how people are like, you hear these stories about people like going into the wrong house or apartment and falling asleep?
Yeah.
That's happened to me.
No. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to hear this one.
We're gonna save it. Maybe I'll tell you guys.
Maybe it's a Friday story.
Yeah,
that's a Friday type story.
We'll save it for Friday.
Write it down.
All right, we're at 40 minutes anyways at this point. See you guys tomorrow. Will be me and Chris. Stay simple.